kind of amazing how bad decision maker Mark Zuckerberg ends up being. Just in like all aspects and all regards, they just keep flopping after flopping after flopping. And just when you think things couldn't get any worse, Meta decides to start making a smartwatch. Oh my god, let's begin. I'm sorry to interrupt your normally scheduled MacBook coverage, but I had to just talk about this now because I know nobody's gonna care about it in the future, or possibly even now. That's okay too. But Bloomberg has received images of this upcoming smartwatch designed by Facebook, which is now called Meta, so keep that in mind moving forward. They pulled a Google with Alphabet where it's like, so this is our new name, but we're still gonna be called Google, but I guess they killed off the name Oculus and are shifting everything towards Meta. Oh god, Mark, what were you thinking? Oh, anyway, we see these images of the actual smartwatch itself, and man, I had no idea you could make so many dang mistakes with a single product. First of all, let's just get it out of the way. It looks like, display-wise, they're going for kind of a squarish, stubby Apple Watch display approach with very, very curved corners, so it's a squircle, if you want to call it that. You know, not quite a square, not quite a circle. But the biggest thing that stands out to me is the notch. And not only did they put a notch on a watch, big no-no from the get-go because of various reasons I'm about to get into, but they put the notch on the bottom of the display. I mean, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that Bloomberg just received images of the watch that happened to be upside down, and maybe the journalist didn't take the time to flip it the other direction. But knowing this is Zuckerberg and Meta, I would not be shocked if they actually think that for some bizarre reason, it's actually a good idea to have the camera on the bottom of the watch because that gives you a more optimum angle. You really want to see all the detail in those nostrils every time you take a picture or a video call. But first of all, the primary reason in the past I've been okay with notches on phones or notches on MacBooks is because there's an easy way to embed it into the default user interface with a phone. You have just little icons and widgets at the very top of the display. So you gotta squinch down on those, make them kind of minimal, and you're good. When you're watching videos, you can just not zoom in all the way and you'll have black bars on the side. And with the MacBook, of course, we have the menu bar that easily blends in with the notch, and you only use it in one orientation, so you don't have to worry about it cutting in on content because it's a taller than 16:10 aspect ratio. So relative notch size to the rest of the display, it's not that intrusive. On a watch though, this is a frickin' tiny display, so any camera cutout of any kind is going to be immensely noticeable, and there's not an easy way to build that into the OS. Every single watch face you use now has to accommodate for the notch being on the bottom, and if you're gonna make it, oh, we like options and we like giving people control, so you're also gonna let people use it with the notch on the top. Now that means you have to design all of these watch faces to accommodate what do we do with 6 o'clock, or what do we do with 12 o'clock, what do we do with this modular watch face since we can't display information across this section of the display or this section of the display. You're already not having much screen real estate to work with when it comes to a watch, so that's not really something you want to be eating into, particularly for anything really stupid on a watch like a camera, which I have this argument and I have this debate with people every single year, and I see it's about to come around again. So it's just like Christmas season, except instead of looking forward to presents from Santa, I get to look forward to nerds who don't know what they're talking about. Basically, a camera on a watch is a terrible idea, okay? And before you all start commenting, well, Drew would love it if Apple did it. Yeah, shut up. I hated the 24-inch iMac. I hated the new iPad Pros. I hated the new version of iPad OS. I hate so much of what Apple does, so don't try to pretend like I would suddenly be okay with it if they did it on the Apple Watch, because that is not the case. I don't want to upgrade my watch anyway, so I'm honestly like looking for reasons to not like the future Apple Watches. A notch would be a good reason to not get one, but particular reason is that a watch is not like a phone. It's not something you hold. It's not something you prop up. It's something you wear. And with a wearable, and if you especially want to have a video call, you have to hold your arm like this, and you have to hold it in a very particular manner as to make your face not look weird. For one, the camera angle from a watch is terrible. It's very close to the face, which means that you can either make it an ultra-wide lens, which is just going to make your face feel even more bizarre and round, or you're going to be showing off a unflattering viewpoint of your face, which you don't typically talk to people down like this. You want to look eye to eye, and when you take pictures, you typically try to go from a higher viewpoint because we don't like looking up people's nostrils and mouths and it makes their cheeks look fatter. It's just an unflattering angle overall. So for one, it causes a crap ton of arm fatigue. So you're not going to want to have an extended video call with someone like this because your arm will get tired very, very quick. Please try it. If you got a watch or something, just try to hold it up and talk to it like this for a good 5 to 10 minutes and tell me your arm doesn't get tired and you want to kind of put your other arm underneath it to kind of relieve some of the tension. And if anybody asks you what you're doing, tell them Tailosive Tech told you to do it. So everyone will think I'm the reason for all these people talking to themselves. That will be hilarious and I'll get a real kick out of it. So first of all, unflattering angle, and it causes arm fatigue, but I'm not done yet. The other reason you don't want a camera on a watch is battery life. It's already not very good on Apple Watches, which are the best-selling watches in the world, and all the smartwatches that actually have good battery lives that last like a week or two are only because they have really, really crappy CPUs and GPUs, which are the kind of things you need in order to sustain a pretty adequate video call. So if Facebook is making a watch with like a 1 week or 2 week battery life that might equate to a 1 or 2 hour video call, that's going to eat into your battery immensely fast, considering just doing basic things on a watch use up a ton of battery because it's small, it's compact, so you can't physically fit much capacity in there. That means using the microphone, especially over cellular, which this Meta watch is supposed to have a cellular plan. It's meant to be something you can use without a phone. Seriously, Zuck, you're trying to convince people, leave your phone behind and take your Meta watch with you and have video calls and text people through Messenger and WhatsApp just through your wrist as we're collecting all of that private info. But also make sure to bring a charger because that thing's gonna last like 2 hours if you start trying to do videos or take any kind of pictures with it. You're not gonna be able to take very many good photos from anything that a watch is because it's working with a fraction of the size on a fraction of the power with far less computational photography performance. So even if that part of the rumor is true, there was some rumors earlier on that the Meta watch would have a camera that's facing you and then on the watch band have another camera facing outward so you can like take pictures like this. Yeah, that's the superior photography experience. That camera's gonna be crap compared to the one that's in your pocket. Even on a relatively affordable smartphone, you can get a decent camera. Any camera that you're trying to squinch down into a band or onto a watch, it's gotta be crappy, it's gotta be low resolution, and you're not really gonna be proud of any of the images, despite what these reports are saying of like, oh, you'll be able to post on Instagram.
Also made by Meta. Do not forget, we are Meta and we own everything and everyone and we know everything about you.
Yeah, hurts the battery life, the performance of the camera's gotta be crap, it's an awkward angle, and basically it makes complete and total sense as to why any smartwatch that has had any success in sales does not have a camera on it, and the only watches with cameras are the ones that are complete and total crap and no one buys them. The other hilarious thing about this render is there was apparently a button on the top and the side, and I don't really know what the differences between those buttons are supposed to be, but with a smartwatch, one of the greatest technologies Apple implemented into it that I think separates it from a lot of the competition is that when you're working on a display that small, you want an easy way to scroll through content without having your finger cover up the display, and that's what the digital crown is for. And Samsung got fairly creative with it, I'll admit. You know, they do a lot of great hardware in the past, and having a rotating bezel is another great solution. Granted, it means you can't have as thin as bezels as something like the Apple Watch Series 7, but you still have a way to rotate and go through content without covering up the content as you're scrolling. So far with the Meta Watch, I do not see a way to scroll through content without having to touch the display. Maybe they put some kind of trackpad on the side, or maybe the buttons are like arrow keys and they go up and down, but software-wise, it's going to be a real pain in the butt to develop apps or any kind of intuitive OS when you got a big notch cutting in on your already tiny display. That means making a keyboard on this watch is going to be difficult. The camera is going to be crap and probably never utilized by most people anyway. So that kind of summarizes my rant as to why, even by one image, I can already tell they're completely doing this wrong. And Meta, just quit now, okay? If you end up finding this video, it's not worth it. Maybe just focus on trying to make money for your company without compromising people's privacy. If that's possible at all, you know, look into it. But yeah, if you couldn't tell, I'm not too pumped about the Meta Watch, but I think this Series 7 is just going to be an absolute slaughter fest to all other smartwatches on the market. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of Meta's watch down in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you guys in the next one.